CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The city's latest office to residential conversion is move-in ready on one of the busiest streets downtown. As Calgary faces a high office vacancy rate and a housing shortage, officials believe this building is a way to confront two problems head on. Tim Brooke explains.
We're in the heart of downtown, a great street and intersection with lots of activity going on, restaurants, bars, beautiful parks.
Once known as the KJM building, the loft on 4th Avenue has been rebranded and is ready for movers.
We're hoping for full occupancy by January 1, and it should home about 90 residents.
90 residents in 56 units across 11 floors. It's now the fourth completed Calgary office conversion, with 17 more approved and on the way. Good news as downtown vacancy rates hover around 30%.
Our goal was to remove 6 million square feet of office, and by doing so, we would increase the value of the remaining office space, which would restore the property value. It just so happened the housing shortage coincided.
The conversion projects alone won't solve the housing problem, but experts say they're a big part of a momentum-building year. Supply is up, which has introduced more competition into the rental market.
We've increased that supply, I believe, 800 times compared to the pathetic trickle-down kind of solutions that we were providing for decades.
So far, the city project has built more than 2,300 units across Calgary. At least 3 more conversions are expected to be complete and ready to welcome residents by the end of the year.
And Tim joins us now with more. Tim, the city is focused on incentivizing builders.
Yes, that's partnering with developers who would likely otherwise stay far away from an onerous project like an office conversion. Here at the Loft, the city put in $4.1 million of public funding to get things moving. Keep in mind, since launching in 2021, this program has brought in $4 of private investment for every $1 spent of public funding.
Thank you, Tim. It's been a year since blanket rezoning has been implemented in our city. In that time, it has faced some pushback from residents and even legal action. But the city says Calgary now leads the country in building homes, and the policy is easing affordability concerns. Here's Stephanie Thomas.
Terms like R1 and R2 used to mean single detached dwellings or duplexes, but those designations vanished when blanket rezoning came in. That upzoning applies to all 4 quadrants of Calgary. It means that one property could be knocked down and replaced with 4 units plus 4 secondary suites, totaling 8 units.
All through the housing continuum, we have seen increase. And that's really the goal of our strategy, right? Blanket rezoning provides lower density forms, the missing middle as it's often called.
Since August 2024, 77% of building permits are for single detached or semi-detached homes. The remaining 23% are for townhouses and row homes. This applies to low density districts. With the land use process eliminated, city officials say communities are still providing comments and having input, while new homes are being built 4 to 6 months faster.
And that is real money that's being saved by the developers and the home builders that is then being saved by Calgarians in the purchase price.
Calgarians' needs have changed over time. And by providing varied choice, it allows us to live and stay in our neighborhoods.
But opponents of the blanket rezoning bylaw say it's not adding more affordable homes in the right areas.
It's putting pressure on infrastructure, water, garbage collection, eliminating tree canopy. More importantly, it's changing the nature of those communities from what they once were.
He's part of a large group that has taken the city to court, and it's now in the appeal process. He hopes that this becomes an election issue.
I would like to see whoever is elected as mayor and councillor take a good, long, hard look at whether or not it is truly creating affordable housing and solving a housing crisis.
And Stephanie joins us tonight from City Hall. Stephanie, the advocacy group you spoke with surveyed some of the candidates for mayor.
Tara, Calgarians for Thoughtful Growth asked who would repeal the bylaw and who was in favor. So both Jeremy Farkas and Jeff Davison, who are former councillors taking a second run for the mayor's office, said that they would repeal the bylaw. Sonia Sharp, who is a sitting councillor, also responded saying she would repeal the bylaw, but neither Mayor Jyoti Gondek or Brian Thiessen responded to the survey. Back in May of 2024, the bylaw passed with 8 councillors and the sitting mayor in favor. Tara.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. Fire crews had to close some roads in the northeast today while they fought a fire in an auto parts yard. The fire was contained to a Quonset hut on 37th Avenue. There were no nearby fire hydrants, so crews had to run hoses a pretty fair distance to put out the flames. They blocked off traffic while they rolled out the lines. No one was hurt, and there is no word on how it started. An intense wildfire forced the closure of BC's Coquihalla Highway. Motorists had to drive through showers of embers before the highway was closed between Hope and Merritt. Trees on both sides of the highway went up in flames. Traffic is being rerouted to highways 1 and 3. Oil and gas producer ConocoPhillips is cutting 20 to 25% of its global workforce as part of a broad restructuring by the end of this year. The company is the 3rd largest U.S. oil producer with its Canadian headquarters here in Calgary. It hasn't confirmed specific numbers of job cuts for the region, but with 13,000 employees worldwide, it would mean between 2,600 and 3,200 employees affected. It's the latest layoffs, with companies like Chevron and SLB announcing cutbacks earlier this year, as ConocoPhillips and its North American rivals face pressure from falling oil prices.
You know, one of the biggest game changers this year has been OPEC increasing supply, which has undermined prices for oil virtually globally. It was a massive shift in policy that wasn't really expected. So, yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. And again, highlights the uncertainty of being able to predict oil prices years in advance.
Alberta is also feeling the impact, with the government forecasting a $6.5 billion deficit for 2025-26 due to falling oil prices. That's $1.3 billion higher than what was forecast in the spring budget. DeHaan says there is some optimism in Canada, though, with oil production continuing to rise, due in large part to increased demand from the Trans Mountain pipeline. A more efficient way to test oil and gas wells has been endorsed by the Alberta Energy Regulator, and it was developed at the University of Calgary. The well testing method has been in trials and development for 6 years, and samples are being analyzed at a lab at the university. It is a quicker alternative to conventional diagnostic fracture injection tests. Information from the tests helps better understand the reservoirs for extraction of oil and gas. Old testing methods can take weeks or even months to get results, while the Calgary-developed test gets results in just days.
It's less disruptive to the operator in terms of their on-site operations, so they can only have to sit on a well for a few hours as opposed to days. And if they have to sit on a well for days, that strands their ability or compromises their ability to produce.
Several companies in Canada are using the new testing method already. The team is also now looking at how the test could be used in clean energy applications. SAIT is using a huge corporate gift to open a new research lab. The Imperial Energy Innovation Centre is now open and doing research on making oil and gas extraction more sustainable. In May, Imperial Oil gave $37 million to SAIT for the centre. It's the largest corporate gift to any post-secondary institution in Alberta. Imperial also gave an additional $300,000 for a new student project fund. SAIT and Imperial Oil will work together to decide which projects move forward.
It empowers the students to take on really some of these very challenging, relevant industry projects that are meaningful, and it's really through teamwork and innovation that the teams are going to learn firsthand about the opportunities that we're talking about.
The new lab is part of SAIT's Applied Research and Innovation Services Hub. The mayor of Airdrie has decided he won't run for re-election. Peter Brown posted on social media that he's not running again. Brown has been Airdrie's mayor since 2010. Since then, the city has doubled in size, with a population now of more than 85,000 people. So far, at least 3 candidates for mayor have stepped forward to run in the October 20th election.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Let's get a peek at our forecast. Danielle joins us now. We still do have some smoke to contend with out there.
We do, but the good news is it's slowly improving as we go here. So these next couple days should be less smoky than what we've had for the past couple days. In addition to the smoke today, we also had cool temperatures, absolutely. Just a high of 18 in Calgary, 19 for Edmonton. And as you go further off to the east, Winnipeg just looking at a high of 9. We've had some strong winds really out of the north today, predominantly out of the north, as you can see here by the wind direction listed. So we had gusts up to 31 kilometers per hour in Calgary, and communities off to the east even stronger. So that cold wind out of the north has been pushing in. That didn't allow our temperatures to climb. The other thing that didn't allow our temperatures to climb is all the smoke that's been out there covering up the sun. The sun hasn't been able to heat up the surface. You can see that flow out of the north. That's what we've been dealing with. That's on the radar and satellite imagery. And you can also see a little bit of a couple more weather statements. These are all starting to retreat, all starting to come to an end as things start to improve. So as we head through the rest of tonight, this will really shift out as the wind direction shifts in our favor. So that's some good news for us. There are some fires in BC though, and as the wind shifts later on Sunday, even Saturday night into Sunday, it might blow some of this smoke in. Now, some of that may stay in those upper levels, but some of it may make it to the surface. So we are looking at the potential for a bit of a smokier day once again on Sunday that could pump us back to that moderate part of the scale. And you can see that here on the longer range forecast. So 20 degrees for tomorrow, slightly warmer. We should get the sunshine and there should be less smoke covering the sun. So that's a nice thing. Air quality health index for tomorrow, we're looking at ranging from a 3 to a 4, so low to moderate. At times we'll be at moderate. And same thing goes for Saturday as well, except Saturday a little warmer, 23 degrees. By Sunday, we should get to those mid-20s, but again, by Sunday, we may have some more smoke start to move on, and that could get us into an air quality health index from 5 to 7, so moderate to getting close to that high level. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A man has been charged following several break-and-enters in Crescent Heights. In the early morning hours of July 26th, there were several break-ins along 2nd Street Northeast between 3rd and 4th Avenue. Houses, garages, and sheds were targeted. After getting a call from a resident, police say they found a man in possession of several stolen items. Those were returned to residents. But one victim is still missing several sentimental items, including war medals, a Paralympic medal, and an Order of Canada. Anyone with information about these items is asked to contact police. 24-year-old Melfort Jaron Three Sons is facing a number of charges. Today marks Polycystic Kidney Disease Awareness Day. It's an incurable genetic condition that impacts approximately 12 million people globally, but it's not often talked about. Jacqueline Wilson has more.
It's definitely like an unpredictable disease. Erica Sadeko is one of 66,000 Canadians living with polycystic kidney disease. I was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease when I was a teenager. And for the most part back then, there wasn't a lot of knowledge about the disease. And so it was just kind of brushed under the table. I was told, like, it's basically like having freckles on your kidneys. PKD is characterized by the growth of fluid-filled cysts in the kidneys, which can lead to a decline in function and eventually failure, requiring dialysis or transplant. A kidney is normally the size of a fist, but with the disease, it can grow to the size of a football. I just want people to know that they're not alone. I felt alone for a long time. Sadeko reached out to the PKD Foundation and has since found a community of support.
It's not necessarily a rare disease. It's rarely talked about. About 10 years ago, the first treatment option became available to eligible PKD patients. And the treatment does help to slow down the progression of the disease. But right now, the focus is on supporting families, bringing attention to this disease so that we can fund more research, we can add to our body of knowledge, and hopefully one day actually have a cure.
Kenny encourages people to sign up for organ donation. As for Sadeko, she's living every day to its fullest. I don't let it define me, and I don't know, if anything, I think it's like caused me to be more resilient. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
The 2025 Walk to End PKD will be on September 14th at 11 a.m. in Bowness Park. The goal is to raise $5,000 to support patient programs and medical research. The Alberta government is hosting telephone town halls to talk about changes for funding for persons with disabilities. Starting next summer, people who are receiving support through Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped, or AISH, will move to a new program. The transition will be to the Alberta Disability Assistance Program, or ADAP, for people who are able to work. Disability advocates warn the new program will leave many in even deeper poverty, as monthly ADAP support is $200 less than AISH. Inclusion Alberta calls the new program a devastating blow that won't address deeper issues for people who need help.
People are scared. They are already really struggling to get by on, on AISH, and they know how hard it is to actually get work. It's not just simply a matter of having the skills or a resume.
The province says the change empowers those with disabilities and allows them to pursue work. Telephone town halls will take place tonight at 6 o'clock and tomorrow at noon. A Swainson's hawk injured in a car strike is back in the sky. Calgary wildlife crews released it at Ralph Klein Park this afternoon. Our reporter Kevin Green was there as the majestic bird spread its wings and took off.
Inside this covered-up cage is a Swainson's hawk about to be released after nearly a month in rehab, including time in a flight pen to build up its strength.
This guy's a young bird that came to us like 23 days ago, and he was clipped by a car. So luckily in the area there were people around that were able to respond to him. And so they contacted us to tell us they had the injured bird.
Releasing the hawk close to where it was found gives it the best chance to reconnect with its home range and rejoin its parents as they begin their migration south. They winter as far away as Argentina. Hesitation at first, daunted seeing the outdoors for the first time in a month, but after about a minute, with a strong flap of the wings, he's once again soaring over the prairie.
It means everything. It's the reason why we do this. So when we have these opportunities to get them back out in the wild and continue to fulfill their niche in ecology and breed, this is why we do it.
But rehabilitation can be challenging and costly.
We would prefer that people give us a call. Again, it's safety for yourself, it's safety for the animal. Again, these animals are often sick and we don't know what they have, and there's a lot of disease in wildlife that can be transferred to humans.
Thanks to someone who did call, this Swainson's hawk now has a second chance at life in the wild and a long journey south ahead of it. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
And for more information about how you can help injured birds, you can visit our website. You can go there anytime for breaking news as well. Thanks for your company.